Good morning. Talking Shop live. The evolution of Talking Shop continues.
It does.
The Monster Abyss will never remember this story, but somebody was bragging about our podcast in 2014 in Cincinnati. We told the Monster Abyss, and the Monster Abyss started laughing and goes, "Yeah, everybody has a podcast," and then just kind of shrugged off that we had a podcast. And then somebody said, no, they're doing a pretty good podcast. And he shrugged it off again. He goes, yeah, but everybody has a podcast. And just the other day, we said, we've been doing a podcast for 10 years. And every time I speak to somebody, they start saying, oh, you guys were the beginning of you and Colt Cabana started the whole thing. And I'm going, how come the Monster Abyss said that we were just completely late to the game in 2014?
In the defense of the Monster Abyss,
the Monster Abyss is a friend of ours.
Sure, of course, the Monster Abyss is a friend of ours, but I don't know if in 2014, when the Monster Abyss was still running hot, if he was just getting up early every Saturday morning and clicking on his favorite wrestling podcast to see who was out there in the game. You know what I mean?
I think the Monster Abyss was probably just heard, well, this guy has a podcast. Then the Monster Abyss heard, well, that guy has a podcast. Then the Monster Abyss heard this guy had a podcast. Then the Monster Abyss heard that we had a podcast. And by the time the Monster Abyss heard that we had a podcast, he was finished hearing about people. The Monster Abyss was finished hearing about people having podcasts.
I think it could easily be a combination. And it's funny you brought up the Monster Abyss, because as we were getting loaded in and locked in and ready this morning, just for fun, I Googled cryptids of Tampa, because I know that you're the most non-believer on Talking Shop, of the Talking Shop team, of the thousands of people that compromise the Talking Shop team. You're the most non-believer. But in Tampa Bay, Florida, there have been sightings of a large creature. Sightings vary from a mosasaur-like creature to a land shark, and it's known as the Monster of Tampa Bay. Now, upon further research over the last 2 minutes, I found nothing else on it. But if you want to do a deep dive on that for us, that would be great.
that was probably somebody like me in the drinking days.
There's a Monster of Tampa Bay, you idiots.
Good morning. It's 5:30 a.m. If you can't tell that the boys have evolved, you're out of your mind. Machine Gun here in Tampa, Florida. The Big LG in Atlanta, Georgia, and we are once again graced with the greatest editor of all time, the greatest wrestling podcast editor, the greatest editor in all of podcast history.
That's true.
Emilio Estevez of Young Guns fame.
Yep.
Of Young Buns
fame. Young Buns fame. Hung Buns fame.
Estevez
of Hung Buns fame is, oh my goodness. Dude, I gotta ask you a question out of the gate here, because it's been a fiery morning already for all of us. You helped me with my lighting. You've done a lot. I'm here in the Tiz Shiz group chat with the whole team. I mean, there's probably 800 guys in here, but I'm looking at your Talking Shop super duper fancy podcasting laptop you sent the picture of, because you were showing us something to do on there. Very fancy, but I'm looking over your screen.
What a setup.
What is this love movie you were watching this morning?
There's
tears in everyone's eyes. And
speaking of Young Buns,
gazing deeply into one another's eyes.
Good Will Hunting's on HBO.
Good Will Hunt. Okay.
I
can't see everybody's face. I just see the tears.
I got a real weird feeling that Emilio just loves a good love movie.
I do.
Nice I do. I know. My wife.
I just got a feeling the tears stream down the face when The Notebook comes on.
No, actually, Love Story starring Ryan O'Neal.
Oh, that's your favorite movie is Love. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Well, like one of those like romantic stories. It's Love Story with Ryan O'Neal. Yeah.
You're not a big rom-com guy, so no, like Romeo and Michelle.
No, I'm not really into that. Give me like, American Pie, all those degenerate ones. Sure, I'm all into those.
So allow me to explain why I believe the Notebook is probably the best one, and I'll tell you why. Not because of the sappy love story. I just believe the toxicity of the relationship is so legit and real of normal human relationships that it is real. It's like a legit. It's like because it's not all fun and games in Love and Roses. I mean, they're just like at each other's throat all the time, but they just are like, I love you, man. If at the end of that movie, I'm like, sheesh. It's a little close to home.
I have never seen The Notebook.
I would recommend
I'll take your word for it.
I would recommend. I swear, I promise you, you'll sit and watch it. You're not going to sit and start crying or anything, but it is like, if you want to sit for some entertainment, it's a nice movie. Balls deep.
Chato, have you and Teeny had a moment in the rain?
We have, and I'll tell you about that off the air sometime.
Oh, so there's a rain sex scene.
Oh, there is a rain scene where he's like pouring his heart out to her, and he
way more boring than a rain.
And she's just looking at him with this like look on her face, and then they have this embrace, and then bada bing, they're like making out, and like you hear the swell of music come up, and that's the pivotal scene in the movie. What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, I've known her. I met her when she was 19. I was 22 years old. I think we've had every single moment you could possibly have. From
snow, hurricanes, whatever you
need. Rain, snow,
sunshine,
arson, burglary.
I'll tell you, if I sit down to watching a movie, just me or the wife and I, and it's not TVMA, I'm already checked out. Yeah. I need to know there's going to be bad language, boobs, something going on.
So Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze is definitely your go-to flick.
It's my grandfather's favorite movie to this day.
It's mine too. Like, I have a hierarchy of movies that I can watch constantly on repeat. And Roadhouse is in the top 3.
Have you watched the new Roadhouse, and where do you put it?
Oh, it's so bad. I don't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
I got 20 minutes in and I was like, fuck this.
It was, yeah. It was terrible, but it was almost so terrible though.
I weirdly auditioned for that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing. You'd have been a lot better than Conor McGregor, brother.
I don't know.
Now you might not have drawn like Conor.
No, probably not a draw like Conor.
I mean, were you going to play Terry Funk's part in the bar? Were you going to play Morgan?
Great. Yeah. I mean, well,
what did you try for?
I believe I tried for Morgan. I mean, it's been a long time ago now and you got to understand too. I thought about this. Like, I should have probably taken those things a little more seriously, because like when we did that, it was like the heat of us, like, running hot on the outside in the last 5 years or whatever.
Well, so we were busy.
I'd get these things piling into the email, and I would go, well, that's great, but geez, I don't have time to do it. Oh no, it's done. It's due in an hour. And I'd like tape my lines to the wall and shittily submit something without putting real work into it, because we were running everywhere, back and forth and all over the place. And I'm like, maybe I could have tried a little bit, because this agency was sick of getting my half-hearted auditions. So if I jump back in, I'm gonna have to put my whole heart into it, I think.
He had 2 bangers back to back, Terry Funk. He had Roadhouse with Swayze, and he had Over the Top with Stallone.
I mean, the Terry Funk career trajectory, pro wrestling, movies, acting, the quitting all the companies, the buying into all the companies, that's a deep dive that, man, I could listen to somebody on that for hours someday. We'll never do it on here because the research won't be properly done unless we bring on some experts, but there's a lot to that.
We barely can get through
one of the most integral parts of pro wrestling history. But yeah, we don't do deep dives, not yet.
Well, now that we're now
today,
we've got some of our old fans, some of our new fans. I mean, do you want to tell the story of your mom and washing the Terry Funk shirt? Because some of these people might not have heard it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
Well, Emilio hasn't even heard it. He's probably heard it, but he's heard so many stories so many times. You check out when you start to hear the beginning of them. But please, Gallows.
Yeah, so like a teenage me, I'm discovering Terry Funk when he's like in his early 50s, but I think he's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I have like old magazines I've bought and stuff where I know who he is. So I'm researching. It's the early days of the internet. I'm learning about Terry Funk. Terry Funk comes to do an independent wrestling show 45 minutes from my parents' house. It's Abdullah the Butcher versus Terry Funk.
Oh, yeah.
In Kaiser, West Virginia. And I'm like, this will be pretty cool. And there's some like WWF guys on the show. This was back like in the 90s, where like weirdly, like kind of now, guys could be sent out to do stuff like that. So I was excited to go to this independent show. I'm maybe 14 years old.
That's interesting.
And anyway, Terry Funk and Abdullah the Butcher, they fill up this little gym. There's probably 1,500 people in there, and everybody's very excited. And, they sign autographs before, and Terry Funk's this kindly old grandfather. And Abdullah the Butcher's got these nurses with him, and he can't speak English. And I'm at this point where you're figuring it out, but like Abdullah the Butcher's making you believe that he's a crazy son of a bitch. So people are weary about walking up to his table and meeting him. But of course, he's out there hawking gimmicks as a complete crazy man who can't speak English. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
Anyway, the show happens. It's going good. And then the main event comes out. These guys come out. And man, they completely gave it to everybody in this gym. There's blood everywhere. They're both bleeding like pigs. They're fighting all over the arena. They're throwing chairs. They're hitting each other with weapons. They're doing all this stuff. Well, Terry Funk throws his shirt. Well, I was in the front row and I caught the shirt. And then Abdullah the Butcher is just smashing his face off everything in this little gym. So there's Terry Funk's blood is everywhere. So young Gallows is following the fight around. I'm wiping the Terry Funk blood on the Funk You gray shirt that I caught because Terry Funk's an expert. And he knows if you're going to bleed, you wear a light colored shirt to the ring.
Well, naturally.
So I'm collecting all this blood. Then now, I'm fully obsessed. So after the show, we're leaving. And as we're going to leave, I see Terry Funk in the McDonald's drive-thru. And I'm like, holy shit. So
I don't remember that part. That's
I jump out of my friend's mom's, little car, and I run up to the drive-thru where he's ordering his Happy Meal. And I say, excuse me, Mr. Funk.
What you eating there? What you eating there, Terry Funker?
Terry Funk, you got some McNuggets in that little car of yours? That looks nice.
Hold on. Did Toothless Stone Cold run up on Terry Funk?
I said, Terry Funk, I'd like to get it out and grab on this t-shirt. I'm sorry to interrupt you with your fillet of fish. So Terry Funk put down his fillet of fish.
Hold on.
That's the best sandwich they got going.
Toothless Stone Cold took a shot before he ran up on Terry Funk.
Yeah, I took a little shot of liquor. Get his courage up to talk to the Funker.
You get your some chicken nuggets there.
Yeah, you got some chicken nuggets there, don't you, Terry Funk? And it's a little barbecue sauce. So anyway, he signs his own bloody shirt, and I said I would really love to write you a letter. So Terry Funk on the back of my ticket to the wrestling show, he writes the address to the effing Double Cross Ranch in Canyon, Texas. And I'm like, this is probably my ticket into the big time of wrestling. So I go home with my bloody shirt. I write Terry Funk a 7-page handwritten letter. And I tack that shirt up on the mirror in my bedroom. And it's just what a piece of history.
That's great.
So Terry Funk, I write the 7-page letter. I'm like, he's going to know that I am his biggest fan, and he'll probably bring me in as a third or fourth Funk brother. Who knows what will happen next?
Of course.
Probably in the next.
How old are you at this point?
I'm a 14 or 15, but I profess my love for professional wrestling, for Terry Funk, all this.
Especially around that's perfect age, yeah.
Yeah, then so one day this letter comes, and it's from the Double Cross Ranch. And I go, oh, here we go. And I open up the letter, and in the letter, I put a P.S. P.S. because at the time, Terry Funk was at the forefront of selling merch too. Another Gallows respect thing. So you could go online and get a Terry Funk merchandise booklet, which was like some computer paper stapled together with all the things you could buy from the Double Cross Ranch, I found out. So inside this envelope, there's the merchandise booklet from the Double Cross Ranch and about a 3-line note on a little napkin-looking piece of paper that said, Dear Drew, Terry is in Japan. He said stay in school. Here's the merch catalog you asked for. Vicky Funk. Boo! What a letdown! Come on! And
great answer, though.
And what a carny. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and write this boy a nice letter and see if we can sell some T-shirts. I respect it now so much more. What a beautiful response from Terry Funk. But anyway,
of course,
I go away to college. The shirt's still hanging. I start going and playing ball and begin my infancy in my pro wrestling journey in college. And I come home one day, and the shirt's folded on the dresser, and all the blood looks like an old Kool-Aid stain. And I go, Mom, what the hell happened to my Terry Funk shirt? And she said, honey, that dirty, bloody shirt's been hanging up in here for years. I took it downstairs and I washed it. And I was like, son of a bitch. I did so much work. I walked up in that line after a little shot of liquor and got a autograph. I had this bloody shirt. It was a piece of history, and now it's all ruined. So that's the story of the Terry Funk shirt.
Oh, man. When I went to college, I came back and I was like, let me go see where these figures are. I came back to see my mom's house, and I went to go see the big rubber
Big
WWF,
rubber guys like the majors make,
the big rubber guys. The I had Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Hillbilly Jim, Big John Studd.
Oh yeah.
I just was probably 18 or 19. I was definitely into wrestling.
But you wanted to see them because
Well, yeah, I was going into my closet to have a look, and I went in there and I couldn't find them, and I said, Mom, where's those wrestlers at? I wanted to just kind of look at them.
Yeah.
And she goes, I sold them yesterday at the yard sale. I said, oh, come on.
Why?
Oh, I got sick of him.
I told him, I got sick of him every time I came in your closet staring back at
me. Yeah, they're all over the place. I thought, why not?
Why not?
I remember just going, oh, man, come on, Mom.
Amelia, when you were a kid, did you like wrestling like that? Like, did you have shit like that?
Oh, my God. I still have shit like that. I have, like, totes.
Yeah.
You know how much New Day paraphernalia I have that was given to me?
Paraphernalia.
Yeah, I got Bootio's boxes of cereal. I have a prototype Funko Pop. Autographed figures. I got Bret the Hitman Hart original sunglasses, those wraparound joints from the catalog. I have a Diesel cut glove. A Mega Maniacs bullhorn from like Jimmy Hart. A whole bunch of big rubber guys, Jack Pacific, LJNs, and Hasbros. A whole bunch of. And recently, I started, spending my money on vintage wrestling T-shirts too. So I have I'm wasting my money on that now.
Like what?
I have a Demolition from '89. I have a.
Hold on. So these aren't remade wrestling vintage shirts. These are OG. Like you go on eBay and you find one that a guy bought in '89 and you buy that.
Yeah, but I got a distributor. I got a guy. So
I got a guy.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, no, I hit up my buddy.
Whole thing.
Oh yeah, I hit up my buddy Ted at Wrestling For Sale, and I'm like,
okay,
what do you
shout
have?
out to Ted at Wrestling For Sale?
And he sends me like pictures. He's like, I have this, and this. I told him I'll take the Steiner from WCW, and I think they were owned by.
I was going to say, how does Wrestling Ted store acquire this?
You just, man, who knows? Brother just gets them.
He's like the American Picker of pro wrestling merchandise.
Yeah, who was the announcer at Talking Shopomania? What was his name? Penzer?
David Penzer.
So I think Penzer.
We gave David Penzer his first pro wrestling contract for that show, by the way. That's a fact.
So I think Ted got a stack of Steiner Brother t-shirts from Penzer, and I have one of them.
Well, I'd be a little worried about the authenticity if I were you. This isn't a Penzer burial, but Penzer does some questionable things.
But here's how you could tell too. Like, there's just a whole bunch of like.
I know. I'm kidding, Penzer.
Ted tracks him down. So I've spent. Let me see. So I have a Rick the Model Martel. I have a Roddy Piper Euro WWE Tour T-shirt. I have so many. Like literally, I'm stacking like vintage wrestling T-shirts. And one of the things that I want in this collection that I don't have, I was texting Chad about this. Now I have to put him on blast because now he'll have to send it.
Yeah.
It's a Ribera jacket.
Yes.
Oh, a Ribera jacket. Okay.
So yep, I'll send you. I will 100% send you one. Now I think I've got it. I think it's hanging in my closet. I think I've got a couple.
A classic piece of professional wrestling history, the Ribera jacket, often imitated, never duplicated. I'll tell you something interesting about the Ribera jacket in these wrestling traditions. So Ribera in Japan obviously is the most famous one. If you're a pro wrestler, you go to Japan. For years, we've heard it. Since before we were born, they would go and eat the steak and get the Ribera jacket. Do you find it interesting that now, as wrestling evolves, in America, there are these pockets of people who are trying to kind of do the same thing, and they don't get the shout outs they deserve. And I think we should give a couple of them right now. A big one is Calhoun's outside of Boston, Saugus, Massachusetts, always took care of the wrestlers when they came through. Like all the way back to Killer Kowalski through like the Boys Now. There's another place in Milwaukee. Boy, I wish I knew the name right now as I went off on this tangent. They
Vanguard,
Milwaukee. But Vanguard, this is unique. Vanguard started, and I don't know how people are going to feel about this. They started making their own version of the Ribera jacket. There's like a Vanguard jacket.
Did they?
And when the Boys Go Now, they give you a jacket. Yeah. When I went, it was before we were as repented, and my jacket's like 4 sizes too small because I don't think I really knew what I was telling them at the end of the night at Vanguard because they always made sure that the boys had a real nice time.
Jimmy's Seafood is the number one.
Jimmy's Seafood's number one in the States because
and Calhoun and Andy at Calhoun's in Boston is definitely
that's what I'm saying.
So I think Ribera though. I wouldn't really consider Ribera as they took care of the boys because it was more the guy. Yeah. It was more the sponsors taking us there, and they were paying for everything. So it wasn't.
So you're saying Ribera was a work? They sell you a bunch of food and drinks, then they give you this measly jacket that we put up on this pedestal. I guess.
Well, if you notice when we would walk in there.
Well, we went a few too many times.
They start cooking that steak immediately. We're piping the cook down. Hold on a second.
They want us to shut up and get out. Before they so we didn't get jackets for a long time because we were there every week. Of course, we get it. And then finally we were gone for a long time. We came back and I go, I wonder if they'll throw another jacket our way. This will be interesting. The guy pulled out some old Zubaz pants from 1994 and goes, here you go, get out of the shop.
Yeah, he did. As soon as he
and they're not even like they're just like mine are like an old pair of 49ers pants that were my Sex Ferguson outfit for a while.
Well,
when was the first time you got the jacket then?
LG. What was your first Ribera jacket?
I got my first Ribera jacket in 2011, and I believe that I went with Fatimasa and Kaz and Glasses, who, if you know, you know. There's our OGs at Kaz Gear Mania. Hit him up. You want to talk wrestling merch? He's your guy in Japan. Kaz Gear Mania.
Yeah,
KAZ Gear Mania. But he took me around Japan before I ever went for New Japan. So that's when I would have got mine. Chad, I'm sure, got his years before.
No, so those are OG Japanese wrestling fans that have just been around forever. I do have a story. When I went to New Japan in 2008, first time ever, right? And I walked out of the dojo one day, and I was just walking to go down to the Futako Tamagawa River was right next to the dojo, which ended up flooding in like 2017 and flooded the whole dojo, and it sounded pretty insane, but it was like the river down here. I was going for a walk, and this little guy, this little weird guy jumps out from behind one of the little apartment buildings that was.
Now, was it a frogman type looking guy?
No. He felt like it though. He was a little strange. Okay. He was like Shiggy. He pops out and goes.
So he's very sneaky.
He pops out and goes, Carl Anderson. Now you got to remember, this is my first time in Japan. This is my first tour. So
this is not after a show, so there's not really a reason he should be just lurking.
No, it's like 2 p.m. And he goes,
and it's the dojo.
He just but he's hiding at the apartments down from the dojo. And he goes, Carl Anderson, and I go, yeah. Goes, picture okay? And I'm like, yeah, you know. Yeah. And he starts taking pictures of me, taking pictures. He's asking for lots of pictures, and I just got there, so I didn't understand that. Like,
over asking.
Trust me. 3 or 4 years later, I would have probably kicked him I would have probably thrown a kick at him, or told him to get out of here, or read him off or something. But I took like 100. I took like 100 pictures. I took 100 pictures with this guy. And I remember thinking, that's what it was. But it was new and fresh. I was like, okay, I'll take it. Maybe this is how it is. Maybe you're just famous all over the streets of Japan.
Everywhere you go, they just.
Then I finally end up going to Ribera with one of the sponsors named Udo. He used to take care of the boys all the time.
Oh, Udo's your first Ribera trip? That's interesting.
Udo was my first Ribera trip. I walk in.
Popped your cherry.
And I remember that. I just remember that little guy being a really weird little fella. Like that's all I remember. Guy? The guy that was asking me for the autographs.
Oh, okay.
So I walk into I walk into Ribera, I sit down, I order a cold beer. I see the steak I want. I can still see this. I can see it right now. I can feel it. I can feel this moment. Memory. I'm looking around Ribera going, oh, this is cool. The first time I'm here. I think I was there with a guy named Taio Kea, who was from All Japan.
Oh, yeah, All Japan.
Joe Doring, All Japan. I believe I was with like maybe Yujiro. We were just kind of, it was an All Japan crew.
What a crew, yeah.
But I was there with New Japan and we're just hanging out, whatever. Then I look around, I'm scoping around, I'm seeing the pictures of the Road Warriors. I'm seeing this is before I had my legendary run there and I had pictures of myself everywhere. I'm looking at the pictures of the Steiners. I'm feeling the aura of, oh, this is pretty cool. I was never a huge mark for walking in there because I wasn't a huge Japanese wrestling mark. So that wasn't really the overwhelming thing. I was just taking it all in.
Yeah. There's pictures on the ceiling. They're everywhere. It's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Then I'm like, oh, this is cool. And
way smaller than you think it would be.
And then boom, I make eye contact. I make eye contact with the little fella that was asking for pictures outside the dojo. He looks up at me and he is the steak chef.
Really?
And I went, oh my God, I don't want this steak at all. And he smiled and he had 2 or 3 teeth and a gold tooth. It was like when Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone sees the robber and realizes when he smiles and ding, the gold tooth shines.
Oh yeah, exactly. Joe Pesci.
That was it. That was exactly how it was. But I refused to get a Ribera jacket because I was like, I kept hearing about it. I kept thinking I'm not going to be a mark. 2008, 2009, 2010.
I said, give me 2.
2011, 2012. 2013, never got a Ribera jacket. And I almost went, and I went probably 3 or 4 times. I never asked for one. I just was I would just go here and there. And then finally, when the big LG came into town and we started going all the time, that's when we turned into Ribera legends.
Well, we started being like
we started going all the time.
Crew at Cheers every time we were in Tokyo.
And then we started over asking for jackets. We started over asking for Zubaz.
Hey, another jacket, right? No, what do you do?
Typically they want the boys in there because it makes people excited to be there to see the boys there. And then they want the money because with a sponsor that takes us is going to buy all of our beers.
Paying for everything. Yeah. Well, we ended up we pissed off Kaz-san that we were putting over earlier because, they wanted us out of there and he wanted a quick Ribera run to be seen with the Bullet Club brothers. And we go, no food yet. More wine, more beer, please. Yeah. Let's listen to some more tunes, guys. We're having a great time here.
We would sit down and the sponsor would start ordering our steak and we're going, no, wait. Wait a second. We're just going to drink for a little while. But ultimately it got to where
in 90 minutes.
Yeah. The sponsor was like, we're ordering the steak right away. And then even the Ribera owner, as soon as we walk in, they start getting the steak right. They're ready right away. They want us
Rare.
Out of there.
Were the steaks even good?
Yeah, they're okay. They're a steak. Yeah.
What type of cut of meat are you getting?
Oh,
well, there's all different sizes.
Probably the calf.
Like that. There's just sometimes we learned as we became great steak grillers, which took a while, that you can't boil a steak. You can't throw a bunch of butter all over it until the end. And I think sometimes there might have been some mild boiling going on. But Ribera is a great place. If you go to Tokyo, go see it. It's a landmark. It's great.
That was where that was where red wine came in. Gallows he would sip on his red wine and
Aka wine.
But I ended up probably getting 30 Ribera jackets, and I ended up selling them, half of them. I ended up losing half.
You're not supposed to say that. I think there's one behind me on this.
I'd walk on the New Japan bus, not hardly able to see the next morning. Sometimes with a Ribera jacket on, and they were just looking at me like I'm insane.
I got up this morning, and the first thing I did when I looked at my phone, because I knew we were coming down here to podcast, was have a text message from Finn Balor.
Yes,
and he said, do you sit in the Triple H throne to record your podcast?
Incredible.
And I said, yes, I do sit in a throne. It is not the Triple H throne. This is a Halloween style throne that I really like. And he goes, of course you have a throne to do your podcast in. But I wanted to share that while shifting gears, Emilio. I have a question. I know you've been up all night. I haven't watched Raw yet. I'm going to watch it in the gym here after this. What happened with the New Day story? We talked about it now 2 episodes ago, since we're multiple episodes a week podcasters. Did anything take place last night, or is the story followed up?
Or did Emilio not watch like us?
Oh, of course I watched. I was working.
I went to sleep at 9:30, so let me know what happened.
I was out early too.
Well, I woke up at a nice 4:00 this afternoon, so
there you go,
rip roaring, ready to go.
We're on opposite schedules,
Yeah,
rip roaring, ready to go.
And that's what when I tell people I wake up at 3:20 a.m. I'm not going to bed at 1:20. Like I'm going to bed at probably anywhere from 9:45 p.m. to 11 p.m. and I'm getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep.
So in all respect to Emilio, if Emilio wakes up at 4 p.m., basically what your 7:30 a.m. for him is about when Monday Night Raw starts.
Yeah, dude. I do the same thing you do. I get up, I do my breath work, my morning routine, but it's 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
it's a different morning for you.
I like. Do you like that?
What, getting up at 4:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah, does that feel better?
I mean, I don't know how to function before then. I become rather cantankerous if I have to get up before noon, really.
So do you, when you are, because I know you delve in and out of this. I need to get back to the new day.
TV's better at night.
Before I do, when you're out on the dating scene, do you have to go out on a date at like 1 a.m.? Do you meet at a diner? What do you do?
So a lot of ladies that I've dated had a lot of they've had reservations about me spending the night because they know I'm like a fucking ghoul and I'm up all night just walking around.
You're like a little cat just crawling around.
Emilio texts for a date. So you want to have a cup of coffee at 8 p.m.?
Yeah. Like
how about a little 9 p.m. coffee?
No, I'm looking for nighttime tea, dude.
Yeah, like they get nervous, brother. They get really nervous, and they're like one of them was nervous. Yeah, one of them was like, listen,
what time do you go to bed? Midnight? I'll come over for a movie about 12:30.
Yeah. I was like, let's go. I remember I had a serious girlfriend for a little while before.
Was she nocturnal?
No, she would pass out before like midnight, and I'm sitting at the house just like watching her sleep on the couch, and I'm like
trying to figure out a way to get out of there.
Yeah, I'd be like, wait a minute, I thought getting a girlfriend meant we actually would hang out.
You need a girlfriend who
I need a vampire.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
It's good for the relationship.
Yes, if you want the relationship to work and last, you need to be on opposite schedules.
That's what I thought too, and it didn't last. It was just like I need somebody that's on the same wavelength as me.
You're like Brick in Anchorman too.
Yes.
You need to bump into someone that goes, I wake up at 4 p.m. and
I just don't believe in getting up early. I just don't.
I mean, I didn't for years either. It becomes and that's the beauty of your no strings attached current lifestyle is you have no anchor. You're your own boss
whatsoever.
You can do whatever you want when you have wife, kids.
It's life. And so I would suggest to a normal human try to go to bed at like 2 a.m. and then
that's not going to happen. Not
sure.
Happen.
Or
I'm
even
just going to tell you, it's not going to happen.
But I like your thing. Your thing is good too. The only way it was because I don't like it. I mean, I like it now, but the only reason I get up at 3:20 a.m. is because if I want to get anything done, this is you see, or you've heard the podcasts when I try it at 2 or 3 p.m. I mean, my 6-year-old comes in, busts in, and tells me, "Well, what's going on? I got to eat. I got to do this and that." And that's why I was doing
You taught yourself to like the wake up just because it's out of necessity.
Out of necessity, and now it's the only way that I get anything done.
Yeah, but you've got responsibilities though. Sure, I don't. So
no. That's what we're agreeing with you. That's
no. I know that's what I think. So I'm going to be 42 years old. I've avoided responsibility my entire life.
You're like my friend Scotty Beach. He said, "Why would I want to get up and do anything? I like not doing anything." And I mean, it's good logic. Why not,
guys? Like at any point, I'll go upstairs after this. I'll put on a little Pluto TV. The Godfather will be on.
A little Pluto TV. Pluto's a great free app.
It is. I'll make an egg. I'll watch Michael Corleone. I don't got to worry about making sure kids got to go to school or changing a diaper.
Changing a diaper. So if you're gonna get up at 4 p.m. on an average, what time are you getting a little sleepy?
When you get a little shut eye?
Around 10 a.m.
Well, yesterday was about 9:15. I was tossing and turning. I really wanted to go to bed early. Like for me, like early is like
9:15 a.m.
6:45. Like I know if I'm in bed and sleeping before my brother gets up, who gives me the death look, like I'm just like a vagabond all night, then I know like, okay, I've done something, good. I'm not just a dredge, I'm actually like.
So if you hear him start to stir, do you kind of hide from him a little bit, just so you don't
Oh
have
yeah,
to
there's like a certain point at night where I can't move around the house. I can't futz in the kitchen. I can't shower. Like I
get a
have
lot
to.
of heat for kitchen movement at night too, because
Yeah, man.
apparently the
Like,
whole house in this not normal size house can just hear everything I've ever done in the kitchen
right.
as soon as their eyes close.
It's an older house, so it's going to creak and stuff, right?
Yeah, the microwave door is so loud. My wife said yesterday, sometimes it looks like you just come out. It looks and sounds like you just bang pots and pans and spray condiments on the walls. And I said, come on.
Well, that's called marriage, though.
No, it
like,
not.
I mean, like,
I think it looks nice in here.
Yeah, even when I used to stay at my ex's house, I used to make too much noise. It was just,
it's just part of it. It's just part of it.
Yeah, that's LG. I had a question. I did have a question I was about to ask you though about
that Machine Gun KA. What is it?
What we were just going off about. I just don't
remember. Day, not going to bed.
Oh no. So I when I used to work third shift when I was
is that 3 to 11?
No, third shift overnight.
Okay, see, we've been out of the workforce so long, I don't know the shifts anymore.
Yeah, so second shift is 3 to 11, which I didn't mind at all when I would.
So you do 11 to 7 serious shiznit.
Yeah, so I used to work 3 to 11. I'd fall asleep at like 2:30 a.m., wake up at like 11 a.m., and then work out, and then go to work. Yeah. That was my.
That's doable. That's fine.
Yeah, and then I got moved to third shift for like a summer. And I got an extra pay. So that summer I was making a ton of money and still wrestling.
So how did your schedule change to do that? Because
it was tough, but I'd go in at 11. I would work out at like 9:30 p.m. and then I'd go into work at 11 p.m. and I'd work all night. And then 7 a.m. I'd get off and I'd go home and I'd pick up like Burger King breakfast. And I would smash like 2 or 3 of them.
That down and go to bed, right?
And I'd sit and watch like food. I'd watch like TV, and then I'd end up passing out, and I'd wake up like whenever. But I remember this. I would finally start to get into a slumber, and this is when I had an apartment in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And once or twice a week, I'd just start to fall asleep, and I'd hear, and the lawnmower would start.
You son of a.
And I'd lay there and go, oh no. And like my fan wasn't loud enough because I wasn't abundant enough to be able to just go to the Walmart and buy a really loud fan like I would now.
Yeah. I would go buy some earplugs or something.
I'd buy the greatest fan of all time if now.
Sure. Well,
yeah, I'd buy a $100,000 fan. If I needed to. But I remember
economics, ladies and gentlemen.
But then I would hear that lawnmower going off, and I'd be a 22 or 23-year-old man. I'd look around my apartment for trash, and I'd go out, and every time the lawnmower guy, I was like the third floor.
Yeah.
And the lawnmower guy would go past where I was. I'd take trash and throw it out in the grass.
I like that.
So he turned back around and have to move it.
A real battle to prolong the lawn mowing. So you kind of were ribbing yourself, but it made you feel better. I 100% get this logic.
I wanted to show you guys. We were talking about vintage stuff, though. I wanted to show. I don't even remember how I got these. You were talking about vintage wrestling things, and I'm not a big vintage wrestling guy, but
no,
I don't know if Converse sent me these or somebody sent me these, but Emilio, I'll show you these. Like these Converse low.
Those are 1-stars.
Low top HBK.
Really?
Hey.
Wow.
Yes. Those are cool, man. I like those.
Those are very cool.
Look at that. And they say Heartbreak Kid on the,
I will show you something too then.
Heartbreak Kid on the tongue.
Do you guys just have all your Shawn Michaels merchandise like sitting around your area right now?
I got it.
No, I don't have Shawn. I wish I had more Shawn Michaels merch.
I got my shoes here, so.
Well, no, I know your shoes. I'm kidding.
No. So
what you got, E?
So Brody they did a shoe this year. Adidas and AEW did a shoe, and they did a limited edition Brody Lee.
Did they do a Brody shoe?
Oh, yeah. Now I don't.
That's
they
cool.
sent me the wrong size, so I'm a 9.5. They sent me an 11.5.
No.
So what? I'll show you the shoe. The shoe's.
Let me see the shoe. I want to see the shoe, please.
That's surprising. You're only a 9.5 balls deep.
I know. I'm over 6 foot, but I got a little foot.
Well, you don't have anything to be ashamed of. I've peed next to you.
Yeah, we're good. So, but like the shoe is really cool. The insole's really dope. It has his logo. It has like the.
Oh, that's great. That is really cool. I love that. Oh, Reebok made that?
Yeah. So
they made me a pair of they made me a pair of CrossFit shoes years ago, like a custom made pair because there were no size 15s, and I just thought it was incredibly cool of whoever made that happen. I don't know, but thanks.
So you're not an 11.5, right? Are you 11.5?
I'm a 15, brother.
Yeah, he's.
What about you, Chad?
I'm a 13, man.
You guys had some big ass feet.
We're big-footed galoots, as my grandma used to say.
And of course, my wife will go, "You're not a 13, you're like a 12.5." And I'm like, I mean, exactly. I just lie about my shoe size.
Oh, he just loves to put over how big his foot is.
look, see, you will fit an 11.5. I know.
Yeah, but when you're younger though, you think like, I want to have a big shoe and I want to have a long pant, and then you grow up and you go, if you have a size 15 shoe and a 36 inseam, shopping sucks. So don't wish for that, kids. Not that we have a lot of kids listening in this morning, but I used to think that like, oh, I wonder how big my foot will get. Wish my foot was an 11.
I know.
I wanted it any time.
Reebok stock, Reebok as a company, like did something weird. Like something happened to Reebok, right?
Here's what happened to Reebok, and this is not out of research. It's just out of noticing things and living in a rural area. Reebok fell, right? We knew the Reebok fall. Reebok fell like before the vintage shoes started coming back and before like we bought those pumps a few years ago and all that. But then all of a sudden Reebok sold the contract and now you see Reebok everywhere again. I didn't know why. I couldn't figure it out. And I was walking through my local Walmart and I realized that like all the clothes in Walmart are Reebok now. So that's how they pretty smart. Like a lot of brands you see do that. They scale down, they lower the price point. Now it's a thing again, and every dude who goes in Walmart and buys a pair of gym shorts or a hoodie or whatever, like they have a bunch of Reebok.
Let's get the boys in Reebok. Come on,
please brother. Get us into Walmart. Get the boys into Walmart.
See, look, the Converse sent me those shoes. They asked me if I was a Bret Hart guy or a Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels guy.
Yeah,
and I liked both, but I mean, I guess that's like a feud that you have to choose one or the other. And I just kind of always related as a child with the Heartbreak Kid. I was more of a Shawn Michaels guy, and then I grew up into a little more rebellious than even though that's just one of his attributes he's been stuck with as he went through, right? And so that's how I got those sent to me.
Well, that's very cool.
I like them. I think they're great.
They are cool. And I just, like I said, I don't remember why, because I think when my fame kicked in, somebody messaged me and asked me about it. I got an email here from Ryan Burke. Talking Shop. TALKNSHOP goodbrothers@gmail.com. I'm going to read this one email, then I want to get back to the New Day stuff that we completely forgot about.
Well, it's Talking Shop.
Ryan Burke, he's a big fan of the show here. He says, Hoots, we know today is not the day for a deep dive. You're right. But maybe a quick plunge or just to dip your feet into this one. Having been so many places in your careers, do you have any memories together or separately of creative that you pitched where you look back and wonder what the hell you were thinking and feel thankful that it was shot down? That gives us at least gives us a thought.
The amount of
pitch that you
are just that's a 9-sided question. It's a good question. I don't know if we can answer it properly right now.
No, there's been nothing that we've pitched that got turned down where we said, I'm glad that didn't work. No, there's been a million things we've pitched. We've been a million things that we've pitched that have not been used that we are disappointed because we know that it would be good.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's a
good answer. Good
answer.
That's
good
answer, Gunka.
Emilio, what went on with the New Day last night on Monday Night Raw?
Let's just preface it. We started talking about it 2 episodes back. I tuned in when I was in the gym. There's dissension among the ranks leading into the 10-year anniversary of the New Day. We look and think like maybe the evil Karrion Kross and his crew are getting to Xavier Woods.
Oh,
there's dissension between Kofi and Xavier. We get to the 10-year anniversary, as we discussed before. Kofi and Xavier in the ring. The return of Big E to a big pop, and then Big E gets turned down by Kofi and Woods. He walks to the back. We're left with nothing but questions. Today is Tuesday. I haven't seen last night's episode yet, but Emilio Mundungo Sparks, our resident podcast producer and nocturnal villain, stayed up, and I know he saw it. So what happened in our story?
Yes.
So first the New Day arrives and they're pushing the luggage because WWE loves luggage shots.
Okay, so it's an arrival shot of the New Day coming into the arena, and it's just Woods and Kofi.
Yeah, and everybody is just turning their backs to them.
Okay, set the table for us, baby.
Okay, just the Alpha Academy turns their back.
Because bad and good wrestlers know that Big E's salt of the earth, so everybody loves him.
Cody Rhodes said he was disgusted, and he walked by them.
Disgusting.
They're getting a Cody Rhodes rub. This is a push.
That's big stuff. Yes, that's right.
Natty Neidhart turns her back on the New Day. Just turns her back.
Oof.
Shuns them.
The legendary Natty in the shot.
So then a couple of segments later, now they're about to come out and explain what they did.
Okay, so an in-ring promo.
And then the boos, they couldn't even get the words out.
Really?
It was incredible.
That's epic. Where were they last night?
They were in Wichita,
Everett, Washington.
I thought they were in Wichita.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'm going to clarify this through my TR app.
I bet you they were in Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. See if I'm right.
Last night in Wichita. Okay, so last night would have been the 9th. Raw in the Intrust Bank Arena, Wichita, Kansas. Okay.
Oh, all right. Yes.
All right.
So yeah, they got booed out the building. They couldn't even utter like a sentence. Every time they tried, that crowd would get louder and louder.
You don't mess with Big Easy in Wichita. I've always said it's Salinas, Kansas, all over the Midwest.
No.
Wichita's a good town.
Wichita's a big E state.
It is a big East state. You're right about that. There used to be a rodeo bar in Wichita. Hey, yo.
Is that Wichita? Wichita's a good town.
I told a couple of tall tales in Wichita over the years.
So they couldn't. They did a promo. They couldn't get any. They couldn't get anything out. So they never talked.
No. So Kofi just kept on trying to say, "You want to know why? You want to know why?" And then every time he just tried, the crowd got louder and louder and louder. And at one point, he was like, "What did you want me to do? Hit him with a chair?"
That's pretty epic.
And the crowd just kept on going. And then Xavier tried to speak.
They're on to
and
something.
Then they booed. And then you just saw them drop the microphone. And they're like talking smack to the crowd as they're walking up the ramp back into.
Really
wonderful.
Well, that's good. That's good TV right there, pal.
What did we say? What did we say? We said they either go any way you want to go with it. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Well, you got 3 of the best. So whatever happens, it's going to be great. I'm still predicting a Big E just run through everybody comeback. I don't know if it's going to be Royal Rumble, WrestleMania 10 years from now. It's coming.
And so that was
the Gallows, nevermore.
That was it for the New Day story yesterday.
Yeah, for the New Day story, definitely.
That's an easy night of work for the boys. That's what we're looking at.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Wichita in ring, head to the.
You guys were they were at Slapplebee's by 9 p.m. brother. Or what seg were they?
Oh, that I don't know. I think they were in the middle of the.
Oh, it might have been
hour.
It might have been a little too late to have to because
you figure Central Time, if they started at 7 p.m., they're out there by 8:30. Yeah, you got to find a place open till 10.
Open till 10, and then you know
we work backwards.
You're out, and then if you're sitting up eating stupid food till 12:30 a.m., you got a 6 a.m. flight.
Well, that feels like an Uber Eats night to me. You know, it's too late. You place the Uber Eats order on the way back to the hotel and. Cha-ching.
As we've grown now 20 years into our business and into the business, it took us a long time to learn that. But I think after TV night is a full-blown hotel room night.
It's a long walk to Nashville. Would you like
there's no sitting at dinner and all that crap.
Well,
I can't.
You're correct. So Emilio, was there anything else?
Yeah, what else was
on Raw, like, what was your favorite segment other than the New Day?
It seems like they're really going to set up Io and Liv for the big gold belt, the women's championship. I think they're going to do that. That seemed really interesting.
Io and Liv.
Yeah.
So who's the champion right now?
I
Liv
like
Morgan.
Fan Talk with Emilio.
It's Liv Morgan. I know everybody on social media really wants to see Rhea, take back the heavyweight championship. But for me, and I know they won't do this, but the Mizarch in me wants to see an intergender match between Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania.
Wow,
it's the only thing that makes sense. How many times is she now going to get her one up on Liv Morgan and not win the championship? I think Rhea wants to get her pound of flesh on Dominic more than Rhea, more than Liv.
Flesh, I like that. So here's an interesting counterpoint to this. My 17-year-old son, who wants to be a pro wrestler more than anything else, and I talk to him about college every evening. He talks to me about pro wrestling. Said to me,
I talk to him about Bitcoin when I see him.
Right, you need to, please. Listen, there's plenty of time for pro wrestling.
Bitcoin's very volatile. It'll drive you. It'll make you very worried. If you watch the Bitcoin charts from day to day, you go, oh.
Listen, I don't want to get depressed already. It's 6:30 in the morning. It's a dip. It comes back up.
Yeah. Yesterday we thought we were buying an island in Manhattan. Today we're going, oh no, we lost everything.
We lost everything. So yesterday, Cade said to me, he was talking about the WWE women's title scene. And we were talking about, I guess we were talking about SmackDown when he brought this up. And I said, I know what it was. My wife said, is Charlotte coming back? And I said, well, of course, at some point she's coming back. I don't know the process or where her rehab is, but she's been out for a while. And then my son sitting at the dinner table said, Dad, here's what happens. I call it all the time. He thinks he can book any angle in the history of the business. He goes,
yes, of course.
Charlotte comes back in the Women's Rumble. Charlotte wins the Women's Rumble. Charlotte goes to WrestleMania. Charlotte versus Nia Jax. Nia Jax puts Charlotte over, so Charlotte wins. Then Tiffany Stratton's behind her. She cashes in, ruins her WrestleMania moment. Tiffany Stratton beats Charlotte. Then they go into a 6-month program with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte. He told me that was the next natural progression. I had to say, I don't know if that's happening, but it's pretty damn good fantasy booking.
It is really good.
That's really good. Well, really that what's going to happen is whatever Triple H wants to happen. I mean, that's the end.
Well, I know, but we're having fun here. Sure, if I'm booking Chad, you're the champion. I don't
that's
care
what I'm saying. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking for the fans to look and listen to. Because sometimes you get a lot of heat. Like, look at the Good Brothers. They're not doing anything, and it's like, dude, listen. We're not. If we wrote the show, we'd be all over it. Trust me.
Trust me. Rival shots, exit shots.
Oh, the Good Brothers came back and they're just on TV, and it's like, listen, we don't write this thing, man. Like, give us a second. That's all I want to make that point. Who is the baby? Sometimes I wonder. So who's the baby face in this? Who's the baby face in this Io Sky and Liv Morgan match?
Well, no. So the end of the match, you seen Rhea and Io both grab the championship at the same time. It was kind of like, setting up a tease, but Io got the loud pop over Liv because Liv's the heel in this.
Liv's the heel.
Like that 24/7 belt tug of war that we had.
Same exact thing. And then they ran it back when they did Stand and Deliver with Julia and Stephanie Valkyrie as well. They were holding the championship as well.
Oh, well, you got to you do have to make the title important. And I did read that they want the titles defended more, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, but do you do it on TV though? Do you want to do
I don't think the world title, but I used to love the WCW concept of the WCW television title gets defended every single week on television. So now we've made this minor title important because we get a television title match. So it gives a little prestige to the strap.
The world is so different now. You got to
Go ahead. I'm wondering this too, and I would love to know this. But you'll have to watch it first.
Well, I will.
I would love to know what your thoughts are for what Ferg did last night.
Tell us what he did. Yeah.
So he just came out and he made a statement and he took out both Damian Priest and Gunther.
And last week too, if memory serves correct, because I watch these while I work out now because our lives are insane. He came out last week and dropped Priest as well, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, no, he came out, he dropped Priest, and then this week he came out. Ferg hits him with the sling blade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just Ferg and JD are on the outs all the way with the Judgment Day, or are they out now? We don't know.
I don't know. You don't know. You know,
compelling storytelling every Monday night.
You know, he says there is no leaders with the Judgment Day, so it can just be an ever free flowing thing.
And that's when we realized that that's when we would said that how this is an act. So it's acting. He's acting because he does think there's real leaders.
I knew you were going to say that.
Sorry, get back to the storyline stuff. I want to come in with reality a little bit, guys.
I would like to see.
So Finn Balor is saying there's no leaders in the Judgment Day, but Fergal Devitt believes that there's actually leaders in this. But we're talking about
they scripted the show last night or no?
Right. We have to get confirmation on this, but he says it is on the videotape. If we were to go to the video scope,
let's go to the videotape.
We would see that he said that there are no leaders in the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
all for one and one for all.
This is a good story. Good for his little buddy that he knows from Ireland. He's getting a little run with him.
Well, you got to think too. They've done a good job now with all the faction based stuff because if this plays right, if both plays right, look at the big factions on both shows. You got some guys who might not have been made as stars, being made as stars coming out of Judgment Day for sure, and the Bloodline storyline, because if there's some kind of character layer for each of these people in the Judgment Day, now you're not ranking them as much. If they can all come out and have more star power from it, then you got to admit the booking has been done right.
Right, but my question is, do you take the championship off Gunter and you put it on Ferg?
Well, I mean,
because it seems
if you want to shock the world.
Because it seems like they're in this like weird triangle now between CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Sami Zayn.
See, now I have to watch because now I'm wondering. I don't know.
And Punk really cut this really dope. Both of them cut an incredible promo last night
on each other.
Well, Punk was sitting with Jackie Redmond.
Okay.
And he cuts this thing. He's like, the star player is back. Now go sit back on the bench. It was really good. And then Rollins
fired in Wichita.
And then Rollins came back as well. He did that. And then Sami Zayn came
the
out.
Machine Guns entrance? What did he do?
No, it's just me saying rat-tat-tat-tat, you know.
I'm sure that's coming. Somebody else will use it at some point.
Spitting hot fire on the mic.
Motor City Machine Guns came and stole everything I've built for years.
Oh, I love it. I love a good shooter chat in the mornings. We're gonna get up earlier and see what else we can get out of you, pal.
I want that to be the thing. The Motor City Machine Gun. I want that to be the clickbait.
That's for clickbait.
Motor City Machine Gun stole everything that I've built for years.
No, please don't, because then
absent WWE star claims new team steals everything.
No,
it's already a guarantee. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin both messaged me.
Oh, they're the best. I'm so happy for both of those guys.
My dear friends, I'm very happy for those guys. I'm glad they're getting a run. I'm glad they can finally get themselves a bunch of Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Well, they're going to have a ton of Bitcoin, especially if they buy the dip coming up.
I don't think they had a bunch of Bitcoin. Now they got a chance to have.
I said, especially if they buy the dip that we're about to live through stressfully.
We're about to hit a dip. Now hey, how about United Airlines taking a nice dip yesterday? I mean,
you look at that as a problem. I look at that as an opportunity because
it's not. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's where I was talking with someone yesterday and they go, you got to sell it. And I went, that's exactly what you don't do. So that's what people run and do.
That's what you don't do, you little coward.
Don't get me wrong. I don't have any idea. I could go to zero and I go,
hey, don't take financial advice from us. We're just talking. Do your own research is all the influence.
Hey, remember when I said don't sell United and it went to zero? Boy, I lost everything.
That sucked.
That was terrible. Hey, I got an email here before I got to get the kids up. I got to wake the kids up here in a second.
Oh, baby.
I got to read this email though. Let me read this last email, and then we'll wind it down. The subject is Balls Deep Billy.
Oh, finally.
Greetings and salutations from the other side.
He's shaking his head no already.
From the other side of the pond. Short but sweet one. Ooh. It was great to hear Emilio back on the pod.
He sounds beautiful.
During the last run of the podcast, BDB talked about his game.
Ooh.
I'm not ashamed to say that I stole a piece from him and put the line of put the line of quote serial left swiper unquote on my bio. Suffice to say that it worked a treat, and myself and my partner are about to celebrate our second Christmas together.
Holy shnikes, Emilio!
I want a Christmas card.
You created a marriage.
I look forward to seeing you back on TV as a reincarnated version of Money Inc. in The Voice, he says.
I like that. That's good.
That's
we
pretty
need a Money
good.
Inc. gimmick.
I do like Money.
Money.
All the best. All the best on the rehab, Carl. All the more time to practice your reading. Yeah, if you guys could write. Anyway, two sweet boys. Cheers. That was a great email.
I did call you Chad DiBiase in a group chat the other day, so I could see us coming back as Money Inc. That makes me IRS. I'm okay with it.
Well, thank you for that email. That was great. Who was that? I don't even know. I already deleted it. I'm sorry. Whoever you are.
You didn't get the name put over. I saw in the Twitter mentions we've read one brother's email like 3 weeks in a row. This guy doesn't get his name.
Oliver Page. He's a good one.
Thank you.
Listen, he's always messaging the boys. Listen, so Balls Deep, you created a moment here.
Yeah, I think it's such a fitting thing because it's just kind of like no, we're not gonna play this game. I'm gonna swipe left. I'm just here. If you're good, we match. Great. You're lucky. Like we even cross paths on the algorithm, So I'm glad it worked out.
Digital landscape out there.
I want to know a couple of things. What was the follow-up? What was her retort to that? And I want a couple's Christmas card because I assume they're wearing matching pajamas like every couple.
Yeah, for sure. Right back in and send us that. Get us it can be an e-card if you don't feel like shipping it from overseas. We get it, but let us see a picture of the lovely couple, please.
And I got one more tweet here. Okay, this is from Liliana Rollins.
Good to see you.
So she's a big fan, always messaging us, but she did tag me in a very funny picture. It was a picture of me. It was a picture of me and Tama at before the Tokyo Dome at the press conference.
Okay.
And she just wrote, "With all that money, that's what you wore, Carl. But I still love you." Now, let me explain this, though. So I looked at my wife said the same thing. Everyone said, "Oh, look at that. Tama's in a beautiful suit."
Oh, I'm so handsome.
I'm in ripped jeans and in a Bullet Club jacket. And Gato, the head booker in New Japan, said, "Oh, yeah, Bullet Club style. Perfect." But, of course, I didn't do much wrong in his eyes, so I was okay. But let me explain something. I'm looking at my fit here. And I got to say, you could say, hey, with all that money, you're not in a beautiful suit. But let me say something. I'm in like $300 jeans, and I'm not a big guy. I don't do these like, I don't.
You were wearing designer clothes.
I was wearing like $300 jeans. I had like $400 shoes on.
A free coat.
I had a Rolex on. Yes, a free coat. I got like a $70 hat that you get from the Gorin brothers. And I got like $700 glasses on. So now I have all that money on me, and I still look like an asshole.
Listen, braggadocious Bert, we get it. Your outfit costs way more than Tama's.
Braggadocious Bert here. It fits perfect. That like I had an expensive coat on, or I had an expensive wear on, and I still looked like crap.
Well, no, they're just talking a little schmack to you. You look very.
It costs a lot of money to look that cheap.
It does cost to look that cheap.
Yeah, I could do that at Dollar General. I'm kidding. I absolutely.
It's all about how you pull it off, though, too. Like, were the jeans ripped? Were they had like paint on them? Were they tight? Like, what was the fit?
They probably had food on them. They probably had little wine stain. This would have been in my non sober days, of course. Still went out and had a good match, though.
Of course, you always go out and have a good match. Michelle.
Bright lights.
What time are the boys getting up?
The boys are getting up. The boys are getting up here in 8 minutes. So I'm gonna wind this down. Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. Talking Shop.
Yeah, thanks.
At Good Talking Shop. TALKN goodbrothers@gmail.com. We got a lot of emails. We're gonna get us another one here this week. We're a multiple time a week podcast.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Gosh, we create so much content.
We might even do more than 2 and just blow Balls Deep out the water.
Yeah.
He's not going to know what to think.
I can't wait till tomorrow.
Hey, we're on. What are we on now? We're on like 5 months.
Yeah, 28, episode 28, 28
This
weeks.
is episode 528. You're welcome.
And we did 2 this week, and then just watch. We'll let you know what we're doing this week. It's going to be insane. For Balls Deep, Billy, the matchmaker.
Yes.
Live in New York. Thanks for showing up and talking wrestling with us, baby.
Oh, no, my pleasure. Listen, real quick. I will give away those Brody Lee sneakers. If you are an 11.5, if you are an 11.5 and you donate to St. Jude's.
Very cool.
Okay. And you got to do, let's say, I don't know what, maybe $150. Is that cool? If you donate, maybe a little. For me. You do $150 and
you do a little donation. Yeah.
Do a donation, a little over $150. Tag the boys, and I will send them to you.
Well, they're going to have to send a proof, a screenshot showing their donation.
Showing their donation. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gallows, did you ever write back? Did you see the email I forwarded to you about our friend that we have to send to something to the young little tyke?
Oh man.
Yeah, you talked about this on the Sunday episode.
So you were making fun of my email yesterday. No, I have to search through my emails. But in making fun of my email yesterday, I was thinking, that son of a gun, he's always bringing up my email. So this is just a quick example, and then we'll be gone.
Because again, hashtag release the text. Do you want me to release the text?
So I opened my email. And I thought, why do I get so many emails? And the first email that I see here this morning is from the Hollywood Roosevelt. Now, that might not mean anything to you. The significance of the Hollywood Roosevelt is because we went there for Rocky Romero's
sure did
thing several years ago, 6 years ago. And of course I wrote, sure, send me emails and promotions. And I'll never go again. And I still get a daily email from the effing Hollywood Roosevelt. So maybe that's why I didn't see it, and I'll have to search for it. But we'll get it done.
It's because you have 70,000 unread emails in there. And you tell me to email. Can you just filter from one from me, Carl Anderson, please?
I have 64,080 unread.
I've earned that, man. I've earned that, man.
Come on, man.
Hey, if you want me to release the texts from Thanksgiving night of Gallows and Balls Deep,
nobody wants
Gallows and Emilio's conversation where they're just talking so much business, and Gallows is Gallows is reciting poems that just made me think this guy is Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan, quote the Gallows, nevermore. I'm searching my emails right now, and you didn't send it. All I have are the Zoom sessions.
Oh, I sent it. I sent it from Chad Allegra.
That's what I'm looking at. I got one at 4:36 a.m. this
morning. No. Look up the Talking Shop. TALKN Shop.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Edgar Allan Gallows and Emilio, man. I'm telling you, when Gallows starts writing in poems, I know he's had himself a couple bloods
hey,
in the head.
It was a holiday weekend. Let's not be a judgmental Jerry here for Braggadocious Bert.
Braggadocious Bert here. I almost had $100,000 worth of clothes on, and you guys are making fun of me.
Oh,
break here, man. I wish I'd have put that in Bitcoin, man.
Yeah, you should have put that money in Bitcoin, man.
Good brother coin.